It's not about perfection, it's about progression. And you fall off the wagon, don't be hard on yourself. We learn about ourselves by the people around us. The people in our life are reflections for us. They are our teachers. All right. Thank you for coming back for another one. Thank you for all of the love and support and messages from the last couple videos. And this is a learning experience for me, getting comfortable with allowing this to come out of me, figuring out the technology. I really appreciate the support that I've received, so thank you. And that kind of comes into today's topic, is why is making big changes so scary? Why is making big changes so challenging? Making big changes means becoming aware of where it is that we need to make changes and why. And it also requires us to think and figure out what it is that we want. I've been working with some people who want to make changes in their life in different areas. And when we start doing some exercises, or I send them some information and some writing things, and they start questioning themselves of what they want, they find it scary. It brings up scary things. What are 3 areas of your life that you're happy about, and what are 3 areas of your life that you would like to improve? And when they start thinking about the areas of their life that they would like to improve, it brings up scary emotion. To go through those emotions and process those emotions requires energy, focus, and is scary, and can kind of make you want to keep doing what's easy and what you've been doing. Then next thing you know, you're another 2 years down the road and wanting to still make change. I myself have been a perfect example of that. I've wanted change for years. For years, I just kept doing the same thing. My last video about creating a ritual or spiritual practices and trying to commit for 30 days created a big shift in my life, and that was like 8 years ago. 8 years later, here we are, and I've done it again, and I'm creating change. For people that know me, I've kind of left my business. I've moved out of a place I've lived in for a long time. I'm finally feeling change in me, and I've done a lot of hard things. Quit a lot of things that didn't serve me. Stopped hanging out with a lot of people that didn't serve me. I kind of face and head on my emotions and toxic behaviors. With that comes change and comes awareness. But if we don't allow ourselves to go through that process, and if we don't spend time writing things out that we're feeling or that's coming up for us, then we really have no idea what it is that we want, and we really don't know how to actually start that cycle of change. That's where I want to talk about today, is why is creating change so hard and so scary? And a lot of that has to do with the emotions that come up. Also, a lot has to do with allowing those emotions to come up, and those emotions are only going to come up if you don't shove them back down, if you don't use something to numb yourself out, or if you're too scary to actually, start to mentally process them. So that's where I hear a lot of people who want change, and when they start to question themselves and what it is that they want, or where they don't believe they're showing up, they kind of get scared and go back into their shell. I get it. I've done that. I think we've all done that. But that's where it's like, we're in a time of change. We're in a time where things aren't like the way that they used to be. If you have a purpose or a calling that you're not fulfilling, this is the time to get that. This is the time to reach out and get what it is that you deserve. Everybody deserves to live a life that feels fulfilling. We're here on this planet for the experience of love and fulfillment and enjoyment and pleasure, and to have a good time. This isn't a lifetime of grinding away paycheck to paycheck and toxic relationship to toxic relationship, or toxic habits that continue for 30, 40, 50 years until you croak, we need to start supporting each other. We need to come together as a tribe, brotherhoods and sisterhoods, and, lift each other up and share this kind of information and say, hey, listen, if you want change, it's going to be scary. I'm telling you, it will be scary. But if you make it through that scary period, you're going to start the momentum. When the momentum is started, you're going to be like a train with no brake. You're just going to keep going, and you're going to create insane things. Like whatever that you desire in life, you can actually create. If you put your focus and your attention, your energy, and a positive intention towards things that you want, you're going to create them. They're going to come to you. That's just how life works. That's what we all really need to start understanding, is like we are actually the creators of our own reality. When we want change and we start questioning ourselves of what it is that we want, how are we not showing up, what are my toxic behaviors, how would I like to improve myself, that creates scary emotions, and it's easier to just keep doing what we were doing and forget about them than it is to actually face them head on, work through it, and to come to the root problem of where that was created. I'm showing up like this because when I was younger, this happened. But when we start making that connection and we make that awareness, we can actually heal those things or those ways that we're showing up or behaving now. But that all takes awareness. Awareness takes understanding and time and dedication and self-discipline. Just like the video that I made previously about rituals and spiritual practices and creating alone time and keeping that rhythm going to then create momentum. Think about it as going to the gym. Any personal trainer will tell you, you will not make the differences within a couple weeks. It takes months of time and dedication and focus and energy and discipline to get the results. Ask anybody who's gone through that process, and the beginning of it is scary and hard, and going to the gym and working out in front of people is very scary and intimidating, I understand. But when they start to see and feel the results, they're like the steam train, head on, going down the tracks, and nobody can stop them. And their life improves, and their relationships improve, and the circumstances improve. That's exactly the same thing and the same theory as making big changes within ourselves. I'm not talking physical changes, I'm talking spiritual changes, I'm talking emotional changes. When we allow the emotions to come up and we process them and we create awareness on them, we will start to feel change. We will start to see improvements. We will start to resonate at a new frequency. When that happens, again, you're like the train on the track. You're just going straight ahead. Nothing can slow you down. And next thing you know, you've moved, you've got a new income, you've got that new relationship, you've got that new awesome place that you've always wanted to be in. Whatever it is, it's different for everybody. But everybody's kind of the same. Everybody's going through something. Everybody can relate to everybody. Why is making change so scary? Why is it easier to go back to what we were doing? Emotions and feeling those things is hard and harsh and challenging. Something I work with my partner, and we did this today, is tell me the areas that I need to work on. Tell me the areas that I'm not showing up very well, because if you don't tell me, I don't know. You tell me and I create awareness around it, and I sit down and I write about it, or I meditate about it, and I communicate about it. I'm creating awareness and change around behaviors that aren't serving, my partner. Which then in result creates a healthier relationship. That's one thing we can do with, people that we trust, partnerships, friends, mentors, coaches, anything like that. We learn about ourselves by the people around us. The people in our life are reflections for us. They are our teachers. We need to understand that. But the big part about making change is not numbing ourselves out from those scary emotions. I've done that for many years. I go through cycles of that. I go through big growth cycles, and then I get content of where I am, and then I just float there for a while until I slowly start to feel like this isn't resonating for me anymore, and I'm just coping away and not bringing those feelings to the surface. And next thing you know, 8 years passes and I'm in the same place doing the same thing, and it's just life is a loop. If you feel like your life is a loop and you're ready for change, I'll be the first one to say it's going to be super scary. It is scary. Bringing those things up and feeling those things and creating awareness around things that, don't serve you anymore is scary, because you might lose your job, or you might hurt some relationships, or you might lose some friends. You might have to move. You might have to pack up and go to a new city. It's different for everybody, but everybody's going through it. Whether we like it or not, we're in it together. We're here to support each other. We're here to lift each other up. We're a brotherhood and we're a sisterhood. We're community, we're a tribe. We're in a time where there's so much uncertainty. We don't know what tomorrow's going to be like with this whole pandemic, that, if you want change, this is the time, because live the life that feels fulfilling and meaningful. If you have a purpose and passion or a calling that you aren't living, this is the time to do it. But to do that, you have to do the work. You have to have discipline. You have to stop eating junk, and you have to start fueling your body properly. You need to stop sitting on the couch, and you need to start exercising. You need to start stimulating your blood. You need to start stimulating your mind, and you have to start communicating with yourself. You communicate with yourself with journaling to yourself. It sounds, a little ridiculous, but the whole Dear Diary thing, there's a lot of truth behind it. Look it up. Talking to mentors, coaches, therapists, friends is a way of awareness and healing oneself. I like to think of it upside down triangle. At the top, big flat section, we have the way that we're showing up, good and bad, toxic behaviors, whatever it is that's not serving us or what is serving us. And when we come down to the point at the bottom, that's the root cause. So the way that I'm showing up here was a reflection of what has happened down here. Maybe when I was a young boy, and when we were children and we experienced negative trauma, could be a way of why we're showing up like that in today. So doing the work is hard. Doing the work is scary. Bringing these emotions to the surface is going to make you want to go back into your shell. But know this, if you don't go back into the shell, you do create awareness, you do start making positive changes, you do start setting a positive intention, your reality will shift. Your emotions will shift. Your frequency will shift. Just like in the gym with the trainer, after 3 or 4 months, you will physically see the shift and you will physically feel empowered. Well, a few months of doing hard work and creating awareness around the emotions that are coming up in us will make a big shift. That shift is you altering and creating reality, creating, the world that you have always desired. But you can't create what you desire if you don't know what it is that you desire. And you can only figure out what it is that you desire if you take the time to listen to yourself, if you take the time to talk to yourself, or if you take the time to talk to somebody else. If you continue the same cycle and patterns that you've always done, you are going to continue the cycles and patterns infinitely. Doing hard things and showing up in ways that you haven't been showing up for yourself and for your family or your partner or your work people takes time, commitment, discipline, energy, and focus. Once that ball starts rolling and momentum is created, life will change in front of your eyes. Things will come into your life. You'll start creating things. You start feeling good about yourself. Your energy will go up. People will start noticing. People will start asking. People will be coming to you and asking for your advice on things. They're going to notice the shift. Making big changes is hard. But I promise you, when you make those changes and you get through that hard part, it's all going to get a little bit easier. It's all going to make more sense. But don't get scared and go back into your shell. Let those things come up, process them, evolve from them. They're here for us to hear and feel and grow from. You can become exactly who it is you've always desired to be. Or you can become your truest potential, and you can evolve into the man or the woman or the partner or the friendship that you believe you've always desired, or that you believe you've always, expected. So do the changes, do the work. It's going to be challenging. You're going to want to cry and kick and scream and blast down the trail full speed, but do that. Don't cope and numb yourself out. Don't just keep doing the easy stuff. If you feel like you want change, just work towards it. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. If you do 2 months of something and you fall off the wagon, don't be hard on yourself. Start it again. That's 2 months of practice to help you propel 6 months down the road. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. So good luck on the progress, and stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Please, thank you. I love the feedback. Comment, whether you like this or don't like this and why, or also comment on some stuff that you want to hear. Some topics you want to go over. I'm like an open book, and I'm just want to open my heart and, share as much as possible.